All right. Well, Miss Whitley, just talk to me about your plan for the lesson.
My plan for the lesson was for Angie to be able to demonstrate her understanding of numbers 1 through 20, not just by recognition, but actually manipulating objects and graphing using those numbers.
Mm-hmm. So, how does this fit in with her with the goals that are in her IEP?
In her goal in her IEP, it was for her just to be able to demonstrate a variety of ways of using numbers 1 through 20. So with this is just going right along with me being able to assess what her ability is to manipulate those numbers and identify them, not only just by recall or just by seeing them, but how she can apply those numbers as well.
Mm-hmm. So, with that, just kind of talk to me about how you felt the lesson went.
Overall, the lesson was a little bit complex, I kind of feel. For her, she started out doing okay, but it was a lot of multitasking. And she started to shut down on me throughout the lesson. So I just kind of think there were some good things to the lesson I can see, but there's also some things that I see that I would do differently in the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we will kind of talk through that a little bit, and I'll give you some feedback on the rubric, and then I also want to get some feedback from you as far as what you would do differently if you were going to teach this lesson again.
Okay.
So, and actually, let's go there now. So, having gone through this experience, what would you do differently if you were going to teach this again? And I know you will have to go back and go through this again because you really didn't get to go through the complete lesson. So, talk to me about what changes you would make.
Number one, I would not ever try to do this lesson in one day again.
Mm-hmm.
It was extremely too much and too complex. Planning the lesson moving forward, and when I go back to reteach this lesson, I would break it down into maybe just one day we would possibly just sort the Skittles. Another day we would just pick like maybe 2 colors and count and graph those. I just think like with her attention span and her wanting to shut down on me, that she felt very overwhelmed. So I just think I would break it down into smaller lessons and then maybe even ask her, get her opinion on something she would like to graph. So maybe it's something that she's more interested in than just using the Skittles.
Okay. So I want to go through the rubric with you and then give you some feedback on strengths and weaknesses of the lesson. Regarding number one, instructional implementation, I gave you a 3 on that. The instructional time was used effectively. You did allow for a sufficient time for the lesson, and transition was smooth. I think the planning was appropriate for that. I think you planned for it, although the student wasn't necessarily cooperative through all of that. So some of that I kind of feel like was beyond your control. On number 2, providing for higher learning skills. I do think that that you scored a 3 on that. I think you really tried to have a little more rigor with her. Again, this is just based on where she is and what she can do. I thought you tried a couple of different ways, 2 or 3 ways to engage her. Although it wasn't entirely effective, I did see the attempt. And so, I commend you for that and just persisting through. And I do think you're right. You're going to have to break it down and go through this again without maybe having so many steps in the process. with active engagement and value of diversity. I did say a 3 on that. You really did try to, get her to participate. You tried to re-engage her, and your interaction with her was very positive. You Some of the things you said you're super smart. You can do this. I love the way you're setting up. Good job. So you really tried to give her some positive feedback. But she's just kind of at a stage where she just didn't really care. So I could definitely see the attempts. Regarding behavior management, I think you tried a variety of strategies with her, and there weren't many like classroom distractions. Um, you did provide constructive feedback to the student, as you were interacting with her. And so you made attempts to refocus her direction. You tried to reassure her, and also you used the timer. So you were trying to kind of stay on track and, keep maintain the pace of the lesson, and to kind of monitor and adjust when you had to regroup with the lesson. So I think you did well as far as that was concerned. And on number 5, regarding student engagement, I did say there was a 2 there. Um, she was involved for some of the lesson, so not as active as I would have liked to have seen. Um, but you did really have positive interaction with her and even with the other students in the class, although this lesson was just one-on-one. With number 6, enhancing communication, there was an exemplary oral and written communication. Your usage of grammar was correct. Your directions were clear and concise. And so I did not have any issues with that. With the assessment, I gave you a 3 on that. I thought that you attempted to monitor her progress in several different ways. It was informal, it was through observation. You even utilized the iPad, or had intentions of utilizing the iPad for assessment, so I could see your attempts and that there was an actual plan for that. And you even took a break. You allowed her to kind of step away, go to the restroom, come back, and then you switched to more of a guided activity when she kind of became unresponsive. So there was definitely flexibility with that. And then regarding number 8, support, I said a 3 with that. And so you use a variety of strategies to support and enhance her communication. And you, again, with clear and concise instructions. So you rephrased your request in hopes that she would understand. And there was an appropriate wait time. You gave her constructive feedback. Again, you kind of had to redirect her and talk to her about her non-responsiveness at times. And so I thought that was a 3. As far as strengths of the lesson, your rapport with the students was positive. They clearly respect you. And just being in your class and seeing how you interact with students, it really went well. I have noticed that with this student, she's a little moody. And so you kind of have to work with her personality and how she feels and, when she wants to do something. So you and your paraprofessional are really patient. You're very patient with her because she doesn't always want to conform. So I commend you on that. Your routines and procedures were evident. They were clear. For the most part, the flow of the lesson went smoothly, until you had to make adjustments. And so, again, that ability to monitor and adjust. I could see the thought and the preparation that went into creating the lesson, and Justin, you trying to help her to excel. And you asked her several probing questions, so you really tried to engage her and make her think. And again, just the flexibility in being able to monitor and adjust. As far as weaknesses, I would say that you're right. Maybe it was too many steps, but maybe not only just focusing on, that for the day, maybe you could have grouped like activities. So maybe you could have just focused on sorting one day and then focused on, you're going to go through and you're going to count them or do the graphing separately, maybe not necessarily in days, but just in periods of time. So try this for a few minutes. You might even go to something else and kind of come back to it, because I think with the, I don't know, I say the stage of adolescence that she's in, she just gets to where she just does not want to, do what you're asking of her. So you're going to have to take frequent breaks and kind of try to work with her so you can encourage her to work more at her pace. I would also say that maybe just as far as the way you plan to assess her, you could have more of a variety of assessment tools.
Okay.
And that's really all the notes I have. You have any questions for me?
No, like I said, I think everything with her right now is just a challenge, just because she is in that I'm too grown to be at school kind of mode. That's kind of the mentality that she has. So I appreciate the feedback just on different ways, and I don't think I would have thought of like coming back to that same lesson throughout the day, doing something in between. So I really appreciate that feedback on being able to, maybe start it, do something else, and then come back to it.
One additional thing I would also suggest is to maybe involve her counselor so that you can kind of talk to the counselor about her, just her non-conforming. She is becoming a little more resistant, and I do think there has been a medication change.
Okay.
So just talking to them about that and letting them know the changes in her behavior, her personality that you're seeing, because they need to know how she's responding, and in case they need to make adjustments in, what she's taking.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.